Hello. Just saying good morning to you all. As you can see, a little theatrics this morning. My daughter put her tiara on me because everybody refers to me as a queen. And I'm now kind of walking around like one. So she said to go with my microphone, she's gonna put the tiara on me. So this morning, we're going to be talking about some things. And before I start, we all talked about anger at one time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Love you guys too. Well, anger can result in rage, put downs, and violent acts. Isn't this kind of behavior the same as abuse? Is anger the same as abuse? That's a question that I once asked, and some people have asked it too. Well, anger is the emotion, abuse is the act, and as I talked about last season, getting control of uncontrolled anger. If you have an issue where someone has assaulted you, or if you have assaulted someone, it's okay to get help, to seek help. And as I told you all before, occasionally I'm going to be putting down the microphone because it's hard for me to coordinate different papers in that. Also on this segment, I would like for you all to call in if you get a chance to talk about some current events in your areas. And we're going to talk about together what an intervention could have been to maybe prevent that situation from happening. And I'm going to share a couple of events myself. To start the segment off, I asked before, who am I? Who am I? I am, in a sense, each one of you. I am a survivor, a mother, someone's daughter, sister, niece, cousin, and friend. My surnames are Carter and Douglas. My first and middle names are Michelle Denise. In a sense, I am, in a sense, each one of you. I am no better. I am no less. Good morning, readers, viewers, and friends. I am Michelle Carter Douglas, aka MCD, and I'm here today to talk about today's topic, coping strategies under stress. As you all know, we read about different things happening in our world today, and we deal with a lot in our personal life, and we wonder what could have been done to prevent this from happening? So with that being said, I'm going to read some things that I just came across. And in aggression, I didn't know there were traits of anger. There's high trait anger, which is associated with processing biases that reinforce hostile thoughts. And also in the high trait anger, it is associated with biological and behavioral indicators of approach motivation. Also, there's avoidance cues that keep high trait anger people from becoming angry or aggressive, such as counseling, therapy, anger management, and things like that. So when I came across that, it answered a lot of my questions, because I was like, why sometimes are some people so mean? Why do they do things like that? And basically sometimes it could be environmental, biological, and things like that. So with that, I just urge, if you go through situations where you become angry in that, there are counseling agencies that specialize in anger management, and you are not the only one. Right here in the psychological journal, the title of it, in case people want to go look it up and read it, It's an article, The Facts on the Furious. This is a brief review of the psychology of trait anger. This article was published on April 2017, and it is featured in Current Opinion in Psychology. So, this is a very good read. I'm actually going to go back and read it in its entirety. I'm going to make sure I put the website up where you guys can look it up. But that's one thing that I came across. Also, I've talked about being a survivor in domestic abuse. And with that, sometimes I become indecisive. I second guess myself and different things like that. And here I was reading in an article that usually women that have been in domestic violence situations, emotionally abused women, they second guess themselves so much that they feel as though they have lost themselves in a hole. Emotionally abused men tend to isolate more and more, losing themselves in work or hobbies, anything but family interactions. So with that being said, I'm just going to take a moment to speak because I thank the Lord that He brought me in the company of really good people, and I'm very thankful for social media. Unfortunately, there are some negative things that people do through social media, but, for the most part, it is a very good tool to use. The devil just tries to seek and devour in any means necessary. So, he tends to use, even things like social media to try to bring a negative light to, but it's not the tool, it's the people that are allowing Satan to use them, and that's how I feel. But, I'm going to say this, through my life, getting out of that situation, getting my divorce in 2004, people really did take advantage of me, and they talked about me. And, one of the things that I had to where I changed my mind a lot, and I second guessed myself a lot. And people thought that was funny. But you know what? I was in a domestic violence situation. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. So shame on you. And I speak to the people that had educational background, but yet they chose to use what I refer to as the bias glasses, and use that to look down on someone. And that's just not right. I went to school for social work. I was going for a bachelor's. I just have a few more classes, I think about 12 or whatever, but I took the classes that I had and I got an associate. And I'm not practicing right now in that because, like I said, I had that nervous breakdown. But that's something that I'm going to pick up, and that's something that I'm going to finish, because I love the profession, because I believe that everybody has the power of change. I believe that people go through trials and tribulations to become more resilient in life. So right now I have the crown of resilience right now, and I'm glowing. So, but here we talk about today coping strategies under stress. What are some things that we could do as a people to, when we feel that we're getting upset or whatever, what can we do to try to take ourselves out of the situation? And at this time, you all can feel free to call in on Messenger or on my work mobile phone, which is 330-881-3434. Yes. So I'm going to share a story right now where I came across. This happened May of this year, where anger played a role in this situation. It was Larissa Barrows, and she was murdered by her estranged boyfriend, Kai Williams. This really was sad because this young lady, very well loved in her community. She and the individual had a son together, and he was extremely jealous of her, possessive of her, battered her throughout their relationship. When she got the ability and power to walk away, he began stalking her. Now, Larissa Barrows, it reads, she was 18 and her ex-boyfriend, Kai Williams, 20, both died in the incident that unfolded at Larissa's home in Florida. After killing Barrows, Williams shot himself to death on the street as police rushed to the scene, authorities said in the news conference on May 11th. The murder-suicide highlights the problem of domestic violence because Barrows had previously obtained a restraining order against Williams, who once attended the same high school. So that's just a brief about that. That is so sad and so tragic. You know, we as domestic violence survivors, when we are given the power to walk away, you know, a lot of times the abuser, they don't want to let go. So I speak to those. If you're in a relationship, male or female, and it is time for both of you all to go separate ways, go separate ways. You know, there's someone else out there for you. However, if you have the inability to cope with things without using violence, it's good to take this time to work on yourself. Work on yourself. Some things that I do when I feel frustrated, whatever, I remove myself from the hostile situation. I do. I remove myself from the hostile situation, and I just let the other person say and do whatever they want, you know, because I'm not going to stay in a unsafe environment any longer in my life. I don't care where it's at, you know. Another thing, like, you know, I love to read, pray. I also, you know, I have what I call my circle of friends, my close circle of friends, my sisterhood, my brotherhood. I have that. And so when I feel, I lean on them. I talk to them and they can talk to me, you know. So building up that positive support team is very, very important in life. Also, you know, let's talk about, so what are some things that you all think what could have been done to prevent this situation from happening? And we're not going to, hello Stephen, hello, we're not saying that, you know, different people did not, hello Maurice Orlando, that people did not do all that they can do. My hat's off to all police officers. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. The judicial system, I love you all, because sometimes the laws are not where they can just be for the victim. You know, people, I did not understand that until I went through what I went through. You know, people who stalk and harass and abuse, they know the laws better than you do, better than a lot of people do. And they use that, you know, and they go to the very line without crossing over, you know, and that's hard. So what we can do, being outside is a little drizzling and there's a bee. But, what we could do is, people, if you see something, report it. Um, Sometimes, there's no witnesses. And sometimes people are fearful about coming forward because they don't want the same thing happen to them. But it's good. It's good to tell. It's good to be that witness. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And when you're doing the work of the Lord, and He protects you. He does. So, in situations, I don't know the whole story, but I'm just thinking based on that, he probably did a lot of other things and there were no witnesses around. And he probably had certain people vouching for him, his whereabouts. They do things like that. So, if you're a friend of a friend who is not doing right, don't stick up for him. Just be like, you know what, man? That's not cool. And if it's our friendship, then it's a bigger friend for me not to lie for you. It's a bigger friend for me to tell you what you're doing is not right. It happens. Sometimes we lose and gain friends because we stand up for what is right. So, I just have that to say. Another thing I'm going to talk about, like coping strategies under stress. Learn who you are. Sometimes when you feel yourself getting angry and irritable, it's because the Lord is speaking to you. And maybe it's something in your own home, and I mean home as far as spirit, that needs addressed and needs pacifying. We look at why do dogs bark? Why do babies cry? Why do people do what they do? Is because something needs. Dogs bark because they're hungry or they need to go out, and babies cry because they need changed or they need fed or something like that. So we look at what is going on. What is our spirit, our home trying to tell us? Why are we becoming so irritable and angry? And then we look back to memories. We look back to our past environment. And maybe it's something that we saw and we witnessed. Maybe we grew up in a home where there was domestic violence, and that's all we ever known. Like I talk about that, and I hate to bring it back, but to the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation. And Chris Brown, he apologized, and he said that he couldn't believe that he did that because he witnessed his mother growing up in the domestic violence situation. And I say to that, that's something to look at. If we feel ourselves at any point in time feeling that we are getting overly sensitive to situations to where we are aggressive, we need to seek help. We need to contact our local counseling agency, and you can Google counseling agencies that specialize in anger management near me, and get into their program. I do believe we will make America great again. We will make the nation, the world great again, because we are all children of God, and we have the ability, one person, to change. If we, someone said at one time, if we cannot change the world, we cannot change everybody in the world, but we can change one person in the world by changing ourselves. And with that, one person at a time, we make a change, a positive change. So, that's something that I adopted in my life and that I hold near because, like, with my personal change and outlook in life, I was able to better raise my children. My children are so phenomenal, gainfully employed. I talked about my decisions in the past and very open and honest with my kids, and I'm thankful for that because they have not made the same decisions that I made in life, and because when you decide to get into a relationship, you have to be individually ready. And I know there's no perfect timing. Sometimes, you meet that person and you just, kick it off, And I just wanted to make sure that my children here are the best that they individually can be. So when they do meet that person, that they can really build a union together. And I'm just so blessed of the choices that my kids make. And I love you guys so much. Patrick, Arlessa, and Bri, I'm so proud of you. Mommy is so proud of you. And with that being said, I'm going to conclude this segment. And we will see each other next week, same time at 9 o'clock. And for this segment, I'm going to pray over because, like, I was leaning towards one thing, but I'm going to pray over it and see where the Lord wants me to go, with that. And I just want to tell you all, I really appreciate your comments. I appreciate your encouragement. The messages that you guys send me, I'm so thankful for that. Now, about tagging me in those inappropriate groups, that's something I don't appreciate. If you want to tag me in a group that's positive, like Jesus Fish and, things like that, I don't care. I applaud that. So, if you're trying to build your brand, build your business, I am, for one, someone who supports. I support other people. You ain't got to support me. I appreciate it if you do, but, I support. So if there's a brand that you are trying to build in business and stuff, go ahead and tag me in the group. Now, as far as reaching out to me, I appreciate, so I want to take this time to thank you all. God bless. See you all next week. Bye-bye.